Legacy Hour. I'm Andrew Cohen on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS. I'm here with Ron Morgan, CPA extraordinaire from the well-established firm out here in Santa Clarita, Stern, Corey, Streeten, and Morgan. They've been here for how many years, Ron?
Well, we moved into the building that we're in on the old road 10 years ago, this month, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And we had an office another 5 years out here, a satellite office.
So you guys have been here for a long time. Your location is heading south on the 5. It's really the last building on the west side. You can see the nice signs. I see your name every time I drive out of the valley. So these guys are local. They've been here a long time. Ron, you've been here for
all the partners live out here.
Right.
We've lived out here a long time, so we believe in the community.
Yeah, you've lived here for what, more than 25 years?
25
raised your family
years.
here, right?
Yes. Yeah, I have 3 boys, ages 21 to 25. They're still all out here.
Right.
So we believe in the community. I'm on the hospital foundation board as treasurer.
Excellent.
My wife is past president of the Santa Clarita Artists Association. And she's an actress with the theaters out here, so we're well established.
That's fantastic, and you know it's really important being part of the community, and it's fun. You know, I'm an attorney, you're an accountant, not the most glamorous of professions, but I really
that's your opinion.
I'm proud of what I do, and I love working with people that enjoy what they do and can help people and make people's lives better. Your boys, you said, are 21, 24 years old.
I have 3, 21, 23, and 25 right now.
Okay. They're young adults. They're there. They're at the point in life where all the stuff we're talking about now is when you go from being a college student and messing around and playing around all the time, at least that's what I was doing, to starting to get on with your life, whether it's working or starting to get married or pushing kids off for a little bit. But it's getting to that point. So I see, I've got little ones. You see that. So we see real life examples of what we're trying to do every day in the office and at home.
Exactly. And just recently I had a client come in. They just got married a couple years before that or so, and they wanted to go through their estate planning and see everything. So when I sat down with them, I asked
what do you find in there?
Well, I asked, well, what do you have? And they gave me a will and a living trust. And so I said, okay, well, I looked through the trust and I said, okay, what's going to happen is half of your assets are going to go to his ex-wife. And he wasn't real happy. She was even less happy about that.
So this was an older trust that he had and not her.
Right.
And it just hadn't been updated. But you think, oh, I've got a trust that'll take, quote unquote, take care of it.
That's why it's important whenever there's life-changing events, whether it's marriage, divorce, kids, death, or even I think a lot of attorneys recommend that every 10 years or so, 7 to 10 years, that a trust be reviewed because there's a lot of changes in laws.
Oh, I would recommend actually a small review for assets funding. I meet with my clients and I have a plan where I do stuff on a more frequent basis, but really to revisit and change it, it's not every year. But you're right, every 7, 10 years the laws change, the IRS changes law, your life changes, and depending upon what happens there could be major changes that you want to implement.
Courts change things too. One of the things I bring up to my clients is the Terry Schiavo case.
Okay. So for folks that might not remember that.
That was, about 12 years ago or so. She was in a hospital in Florida, I believe it was.
Florida.
And the husband wanted to, she was a vegetable at this point, and her husband wanted to take her off life support, which was her wishes, according to him. And
according to him, but there was no paperwork, right?
There was no paperwork, and that's the problem. And her parents didn't want that to happen. They wanted to keep her on life support, and so that went through the courts a lot and made it very public for everybody. And a lot of people don't want to make things like that public. Right. So that's why it's important to get things updated.
It's super important to have it done. 1, to have it done, but 2, have it updated. Your wishes, again, we talk about the right people, the right professionals to give you the right advice, and the right people in your life that are going to carry out your wishes when you're unable to.
Exactly. And another thing that with this couple that I looked at, which was also a problem, was the beneficiary designation on their life insurance and IRAs and pension plans and everything. Right. And guess who was still named as the beneficiary on the pension and IRAs?
Let me think. I'm going to guess the ex-wife.
Very good.
Is still going to get, if she was the sole beneficiary of the life insurance policy. So your client now, husband, new wife, they're paying every month their hard-earned money, premiums for life insurance. They think they have life insurance in his life. If something were to happen to him, 100% of that policy, call it $1 million, is going to go to his ex-wife because they didn't do something as basically simple as making sure that their planning was up to date.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's scary, and that happens more often than
Then it shouldn't happen at all, obviously,
Yeah.
but that's why it's important to review these things.
Definitely. So, yeah, and it's just really interesting. And even with real estate and taxes, we've got a minute left in this section, but I wanted to bring something up. When you help people, maybe they have a small business, right? And you have a small business. So people may come to you and they might just be running it out of their bedroom and they might be doing it. What kind of advice do you give them as far as, maybe entities or tax business?
Well, that could be a big area. As it depends on the business, depends on what their goals are. It depends what the state that they're at right now as to whether they want to set up a formal business entity like an LLC or a corporation or something. Because whenever you do that, it adds a lot of costs to it, as opposed to being a sole proprietorship, which is the way most small businesses are started.
But the costs are up front, but you get, and this is all part of estate planning, which is why we're talking about this. It's not just business. If you own, any assets you own is in your estate, and many people own small to medium to large businesses. And so the startup costs are there, but it gives you protection from creditors to yourself. Everyone has a corporation, limited liability companies. The idea is to protect you and help you change taxes around and do different things with that. So we need to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple minutes with Ron Morgan on KHTS, your hometown station.